we talked about OKR moments.
Yes.
And just yesterday, I was talking to a CEO of one of our client companies, and he was asking me, look, I think the OKR program is working, but I'm not really sure. And so
one of the core things to figure out if OKRs are working is ultimately not just having the OKRs and doing the work, which is many people often think it's how are they guiding our trade-off decisions during the work that our people are doing every day. And one of the quick tests that I always recommend to ask is just ask anyone in your organization, be like, hey, in the last 2 weeks, right? How many hours did you work on stuff that specifically drove any specific key result? That's the first quick question. And surprisingly or not surprisingly, depending on what stage in the maturity you are, the answer often is 0. Or maybe half an hour is oh yeah, I did an update. And that obviously is a big sign that it's not working, right? If we're talking about priorities and we've have put in all the effort to actually create and structure our organization around these things, but then there's no real effort being put behind the achievement of the key results, then we can't claim that it is working. But how do we know that it is working? So basically, that's how you know it's not.
Yeah, that's maybe even easier. Also,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
exactly. But how do you know that it is? And there are 3 core OKR moments, as we call them. The first OKR moment is, of course, that they say, right, okay, I understand the strategy, right? Objectives and key results, setting all those goals, it's anchored around the strategy, the strategic pillars, localizing them down into the organization. And after all of that, you do want your people to understand what it's about. So you do want them to say, yes, I understand the strategy. The second one is then already talking about the effects of what we would call the OKR operating rhythm, right? So it's not just knowing the OKRs, but the OKR starting to guide the work and also tell people what the value is that they need. So if your people are saying right, now I understand how I can measure the value of my work, I can understand what the value is, the impact, the outcomes are that my work needs to create, right? That's when they not only understand the strategy, but they know their role, the responsibilities that they drive, what they need to influence, what they need to change basically with their work. So that OKR moment is when people start to actually prioritize against the OKRs. What does that mean? OKRs are all about, focusing, priorities, the most important thing that you could be doing. But often that just means that OKRs are one additional thing that people have to work through. It's one additional thing on their plates. So people need to find time to get to the OKR stuff. But no one of us has time. We're all working 40, 50 hours. So how can we make sure that we do the work that drives the OKRs is to create time. It means saying no to other things, also to other great ideas, but other great ideas that just don't align as much to the OKRs and to the work that we need to drive to support those. So the third OKR moment, prioritization, means that people actually say, no, I can't do this. I have to do the work that better aligns the objectives and key results. So they're actively creating time to push forward because, of course, prioritization doesn't mean just saying no to bad ideas. It unfortunately also means saying no to other good ideas that just aren't as good or as important as the work that actually creates the objectives and key results. And we often also call it the culture of no, which first sounds a little bit scary, right? It's is that really something that I want in my business, right? People saying no to each other. But it doesn't mean that we're not collaborating. It actually just means that we're intellectually honest to us, the business and the strategy, and are saying that's a great idea. Unfortunately, I can't spend my time on that right now. I do have to focus on this other piece of work that more so aligns to the objectives and key results.